Welcome to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit.
Oh, well, he's very popular.
And today it's Macro Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Where we show you the big picture and how you can take advantage of it.
Show me the money!
And now, the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome to the show. Please come inside. Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, it is that time again. Welcome to the Mr. Credit Show. It's Monday. It's Macro Monday, and it's JJ, Synergy One, lending in the hot seat today. Thank you for taking the time out of your Monday to join us. I know Mondays are always crazy, and just even getting to my office this morning, I ran into a lot of craziness, even on the road. People frantically driving around. You got to take your time. Take your time out there. Got rear-ended last weekend, and I thought it was going to happen again today. It's like, keep some distance between you and the person in front of you, or just pay attention. Just pay attention. It's interesting. Saw a Facebook post from somebody that I'm friends with, and mentioned something about, finding people like DUIs for texting. And then he was in front of me the other day, and here he is taking a selfie of himself while he's driving. I'm just wondering how that all kind of plays out, when you throw something out like that, and then you're doing it yourself. Just, try to keep it all maintained in the right direction. Do a quick market update here on this Macro Monday. Last week, we saw all the markets just keep pushing up really high, and we finally got a little bit of red tossed in the mix. I get it. The Alibaba IPO was last week. Got people very excited, which is cool. It just keeps things moving. And some other stuff around that was moving too. So, probably just a little, back to reality type of day come Monday. I think I read today is the first day of fall. I'm not sure. Don't keep up with the seasons. It does feel a little cooler today, and I'm actually thankful for that, just because it's tough rolling around in a shirt and tie. Not doing it today because last week I got so tired of just sweating. So that's the deal. 10-year Treasury bond market. We're getting a little buying there, a little relief there. So that's a good thing. Mortgage-backed securities, a little bit of money getting pushed into mortgage-backed securities. We've lost some ground in the last couple of weeks on the mortgage side. So, if you are in escrow, you're looking to refinance, I'm going to just keep reiterating this every time I'm on air. Don't roll your dice. I mean, it's, even from a Friday to a Monday, you never know what's going to happen over the weekend. Just because we're in a worldly economic sort of system right now, something could happen overseas and the market opens up, and you could lose an 1/8% in rate very easily in a morning from a Friday to Monday. So lock in the interest rate and just kind of be done with it and move on. If you're looking to refinance and get out of some mortgage insurance, I mean, don't keep waiting for rates to get pushed down, because they're probably not going to get pushed down. All signs point towards them going higher at this point in time. So, as we always do on Mondays here, or every day on the Mr. Credit Show, is we bring the experts into the studio to help you understand the markets, help you make wiser decisions, and help you become a little bit smarter than the next guy. Today, we definitely are going to help that cause out with our guest today, our in-panel studio, Joseph Arendsen. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, JJ. Doing good. Thanks for having me, first off.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you took the time out of your Monday. I know it's always tough in the real estate business, coming out of the weekend.
Mondays are hectic. Yeah, they're definitely a day to try to get caught up on. But,
yeah, and then we pull you right out. We pull you right out of the office.
That's all right. That's why you got to have a team in place to be able to back you up, and we do. So.
And we'll talk about that team in a little bit. Joseph Arendsen is part of the Arendsen group, and if you want to check him out, go to SanDiegoRealEstateToday.com, SanDiegoRealEstateToday.com. You can see not only Joseph, but his whole group. And, it's nice to have that group sort of family atmosphere that's supporting you, whether you're buying a house, selling a home. He's got pretty much everybody on all sides of the coin covered for you. So check it out. You'll learn about Joseph a little bit down the road here. Joseph, are you a sports fan, Charger fan?
Die hard.
Good. So did you catch any of the game yesterday?
I did.
Yeah.
Watched it all.
Nice.
Yeah, phenomenal
Yep.
what we're doing out there. Rivers just looks fantastic. He's on point. He's consistent. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then what's happening with our running back situation is just scary, but it's also it's good to see that we have so much depth in that position. That's not going to slow us down too much.
It is sad to see another guy go down, a very important person in the backfield there. That's a tough loss.
Yes.
But it's good. The Chargers should be 3-0 right now.
Absolutely.
They should be leading the division, and gave up a tough one on that first Monday night game just in the fourth quarter. It's not a big deal. It's to get the first one out of the way. And they're looking solid.
And that's a team to lose to. Arizona is a really solid team this year. So if we're going to lose to someone, that's okay. But yeah, we look great.
And I like the fact that, if you look at everything, and it's so early in the season right now,
Absolutely.
but, we beat Seattle, and Seattle beats Denver.
Yeah.
So that must mean we're going to beat Denver, right?
Yes, absolutely.
If it was only so easy as that. No, it's a tough one. So I want to talk to you about something. Just the NFL has been going through a lot of stuff. I'm a big NFL fan, and the NFL has grown just to this massive entity, worldwide entity, very social entity. With the fantasy football has pulled in a bunch of different fans and women and younger people that are they're entrenched. I'm not a fantasy football guy. I haven't gotten into that, and I'm probably glad that I haven't, just because I don't have time for it. And I could see myself I would be the guy at 11 p.m. trying to figure it out, you know? Yeah. And I just don't have the time for that. But you see the different things, and I don't want to get into what's right, what's wrong, but we have the Ray Rice thing that's getting situated, it's getting handled. You saw, I don't know if you saw the news or anything, but hundreds of people in line exchanging the jersey.
Thousands, I believe.
Thousands of people in line. Then you get the Adrian Peterson thing, hitting his kid with a stick, know. And I just wonder, from your perspective, do any of these things, the media puts so much attention on it.
Yeah, of course.
Which is fine. It's news. The NFL's huge. I get it. But do you think that the NFL is just too big for any of these things to even matter?
You mean affect their actual audience, or who's going to be
audience.
a fan?
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Would it stop me from watching them? No. I think they took the right steps by dropping these players, or at least holding them out of the games, and letting them take their course through the courts. Don't put them on the field until it's finalized. I feel like they should absolutely drop that player once he goes through the courts, finalizes all that. Then he come back and apply for his job, knowing that that's on his record, and obviously that's going to affect his pay. And I think that's how it should be handled. Yeah.
Well, I like that. I like that answer, and I tend to agree with you. The one thing that everybody has to realize too is everybody's human, and people, when things happen, people are going to make mistakes, plain and simple. And I'm not saying the players are the ones making the mistakes, but just the NFL in general, about how they're handling certain things. You have to digest something first. You got to digest it. You got to get the facts. Even if somebody does a crime, there's a process in place for that. And give everybody a chance. I think the NFL is way too big for any of these things ultimately to affect them. You can have protests. You can have, advertisers that are, talking about dropping their advertising dollars. But there's going to be another advertiser that will jump right in and roll with that. I think we're in for a really good football season. It's very level across the board, which is kind of cool.
And some new teams that are considering top dogs right now. Some guys that are really coming up. It's a really exciting time right now.
It's going to be cool. The one thing I don't like to see is a lot of injuries.
Yeah, there has been a lot
of injuries. Very short time, 3 weeks in, a lot of people down. It gives people an opportunity to shine. There's people that have had careers, Hall of Fame careers, because somebody else got injured, and I don't like to see people get hurt. it's a testament of how difficult and hard that game is. I mean, geez, there was a hit yesterday that Weddle put on that guy in the fourth quarter. It was the fourth quarter. Yeah, just demolished him. And he's not a big guy, and it was a big hit.
Oh, it was a huge hit. And it shows the amount of respect that Weddle has for the game, and actually these players have for each other.
Yep.
They play all out. Yep. And then when they make these big hits, I mean, he didn't regret it. It was obviously a clean hit and a fair hit. Yep. However, he felt bad that he injured that guy.
Yeah, you never want
it. Just shows that Weddle is a overall good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never want to injure someone, but that's just the name of the game.
It is. It's a tough game. It's a tough
absolutely
game.
is.
Did you play football?
No. I mean, I played up to when I was a kid, and always around it, all types of sports. But no, didn't stopped it actually right when we got up to like that high school level.
Yeah. I played 2 years of high school and
nice.
and didn't grow a whole lot. And as the other kids kept growing, it hurt.
Yeah,
it hurt. Yeah. It hurts to get hit hard, even with all the pads. And I can only imagine these guys that are very fast, very strong, just crushing you out there. So I saw this on CNN and CNN.com, Joseph, and it's an interesting one. It brings up an interesting sort of point, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are. So the Marriott hotel system, Marriott International, is now rolling out a new sort of campaign to tip your housekeeper, tip the person that's cleaning the room, and they're putting envelopes in more than 160,000 rooms in the United States and Canada to encourage tipping people who clean the guest rooms. And I get it. I mean, I do. I get it. And the reason why they're doing this, they're asking for people to tip every day because it's not the same person that's going to clean your room. Here's where I have an issue with it. And I'm not super keen on this. I'm not. Hey, you want to tip somebody because you feel like they've done an extraordinary job. That's cool. Tipping, I think, has become something that is just overboard right now out there. Everywhere you go, you see tip jars. And I just wonder, I mean, here we're paying top dollar to stay at the Marriott.
Agreed.
And I would, and then they charge you more, right? They charge you for parking sometimes. They charge you for extra hotel tax and
for internet
and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of extra stuff.
Absolutely.
You're paying for it. So I'm just wondering, I mean, does the house cleaning part of it, I mean, shouldn't that just be part of what you're paying?
Well, that's how it's been for, so long. But to be honest with you, I'm a supporter of it. Anybody that is a laborer that's going to be going out of their way, and it's going to depend on how, I guess, messy you are and how messy you leave the room. If I'm spending one night in a room and I'm there for a matter of 6 hours and then I'm off and didn't mess up the room at all, no. But when I'm staying a couple nights and I have to run out of there real quick and leave the place with food from the night before and leaving a big mess, I always leave some money for them. I mean, it's just, I come from a blue collar family of workers, and I mean, I was in the restaurant business, my first job when I was 15 years old. So I'm a big advocate, supporter of tipping. Yeah.
That says it all, Joseph. Yeah. That it's interesting. Anybody that I run into that's been in sort of especially the restaurant sort of atmosphere at some point in time. I've always wanted to work in a restaurant. Yeah. I've always wanted to just try out being a waiter. I think it would be fun. I do. And I don't think it is. My wife was when she was young in high school and college, and she says it wasn't that fun. But I think it would be interesting, and you bring up a good point. I mean, they're going above and beyond. You should do it. It's interesting, and we're in service-oriented business, both of us.
Correct.
And I don't get a tip ever.
But we're also not making $9 an hour.
That's true.
So I mean,
that's true.
That does add to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Why not support them if you feel the need to?
I'm cool with it, and I have left tips. Typically on a more of a week-long vacation or something like that. We're at a destination. Definitely take care of the people that take care of me. But I just want to get your thoughts. It's something that's new. We're going to start to see it. You tip at Starbucks. You tip pretty much everywhere you go. So I guess, what, if somebody deserves it, keep on giving it. And if you have the means to give, all the more better. When we come back, we're going to jump into the San Diego real estate market. We have one of the local experts right here in San Diego in the studio today, Joseph Arendsen with the Arendsen Group. It's a division of Cantor Real Estate Group. And he's going to bring you what's going on in the San Diego real estate market when we come back. 1700 ESPN, your Mr. Credit Show.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Macro Monday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. It is Macro Money on Mr. Credit Show. It's John Jerotz, JJ, in the studio today. Synergy One Lending. If you have any questions for myself or our guest today, you can always go to askjjnow.com and be more than happy to put you in touch with our special guest today in the studio, Joseph Arendsen with the Arendsen Group. And Joseph, let's talk about a little bit about your background here. I went to your website, San Diego Real Estate Today.com, and when I typed it in, I was like, how did this guy score this website address? I mean, that people would probably pay big bucks for that thing. If you ever wanted to just get out of the business and sell the URL, you could probably sell it for quite a pretty penny.
Had some offers.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I've been around for coming up on 8 years now, and right when I jumped into real estate, I knew that I had to take that kind of technology approach. So I started buying up URLs, started looking into new ways of marketing, and one of them was building out a website. And if you've been to the website, you see that it's really a consumer-based website. It's not for advertising myself.
Yep.
It's not for advertising our company. It's strictly for buyers and sellers to find information.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. And I kind of geared it towards the big three, Trulia, Realtor, Zillow.com, and try to just help buyers and sellers. I mean, that was the goal there. And sure enough, that turns over to a lot of people using the site and us being able to reach out to those people and offer our services.
Yeah. Well, it's a great website, and it's very easy to navigate. If you want to check it out, San Diego Real Estate Today.com. So let's talk about the market here. I mean, I'm on air with different people, and I see it. I mean, I talk to buyers, I talk to sellers, talk to real estate agents, and one of the things, the terminology comes around a lot right now. It's like, oh, well, it's a normal market now. It's a balanced market right now. What does that mean? I mean, what does that mean to you?
You stole the word right from me. Balanced. I mean, that's really what we're seeing right now. What it means is that we saw, over last year, we just saw this spike that was we haven't seen in 5 years. Now we've seen little runs where we see prices increase 5%, 6% or so, and we're seeing less inventory, too much demand. However, in this market, we've seen the first, I'd say about 6 months of this year, just lots of inventory hit the market. It could be bad, it could be good. However, what it's allowing is for buyers to take their time through the purchase, find that dream home, have options, not be forced into buying a place because it's the only one available. And that's what I consider a balanced market is properties that are overpriced are not going to sell. If you want to sell, you have to price them right, and then allowing buyers to actually have choices.
Yeah.
Not to be in a multiple offer situation after every property that they go after. Yeah.
Well, it is nice. I mean, if you are a buyer, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I still see it. Have a nice retired couple moving down from Napa, and sure enough, they go after a property that's just priced right, on the water, and they're competing against 4 other cash offers. So it still happens, but it's priced right.
Oh,
right?
we did the same exact scenario. Maybe we were going against each other on that one, but we just went through the same exact scenario. And there were four offers.
Yeah.
Why? Because it priced right. It was marketed right. The pictures were phenomenal, and it was one of those rare finds in a community that was hard to get into.
Yeah.
So those are still out there. Yeah. But for the most part, if you look at just maybe a little bit more inland, the more normal markets, things are still moving. But there's just less competition going after them.
Yeah. So let's talk about just this, sort of sales averages, medians, prices in the county here. I mean, how are we looking? I mean, if you look at last year compared to this year, I mean, 2012 to 2013, huge gains, 20% plus gains, month after month after month. That was very consistent through the year. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like, from 2013 to 2014, we've had 10% gains in some months. We've seen 7% gains. Yep. Where are we kind of sitting right now?
Finally, we're seeing some more even numbers, and that's when it comes back to exactly what we were just talking about, the balanced market. But new listings was one thing that I follow every month, and we were seeing just this huge increase in new listings for the last 3 quarters or so, and we're finally seeing that dip down.
Okay.
Yeah. So prices, absolutely, they're up. I think the average sales price is still up 10% from this time last year, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
But with that said, now finally new listings are going down a little bit. We don't have that huge amount of inventory that we saw come in during the summertime,
Okay.
where we were seeing 8, 9, 10% month over month increases in inventory. We're finally seeing that actually this month was down 6.5%.
That's interesting. Now, do you think that's a bad thing?
I think it's a great thing.
Okay.
We saw too much inventory going on the market. When you have not enough demand and too much inventory, I mean, then you're going to see prices start falling. And finally, we're seeing that even out. So
Okay.
that's perfect. And I really do see a balanced market right now.
Okay. And how many days are properties kind of sitting on the market right now?
Yeah, that is up. So
Okay.
that's because of the amount of inventory that we have. But it's not up that much. I mean, we're at 41 days average time
That's
on
not
market.
bad.
And if you hire yourself a great agent who's going to do some marketing, I mean, you're gonna minimize that.
Yeah. And the one thing too, I mean, it's interesting. It's like this property. We were, maybe we were both talking about the same property, but it hits the market and boom, you get that action.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is about marketing it right, the right property. But the reality is, I mean, it's not a bad thing. When you talk about 40 days, a little over a month to sell a home, if you price it right, if you market it right. Now, you may put your home on the market today or tomorrow, and it could sit there for 3 months because you overpriced it, because you think your home is worth more than it really is, or you're working with the wrong person that's just giving you the highest number out there. And I see it all the time. I mean, do not make this mistake. If you're looking to sell your house, you got to make sure you're working with the experts that tell you what the market's going to drive for a price point. And that's why we have Joseph in the studio today. Joseph Arendsen with the Arendsen Group, San Diego Real Estate Today.com. It's crucial that you price your home right, because you don't want your house sitting on the market for 80 days, 120 days, going through multiple price reductions. People are going to stop looking at your house, and you're going to have to start over. So, I mean, what are you seeing, I mean, as far as your dealings out there? I mean, as your company's listings, what's going on in that end of it?
We made a promise I personally made a promise to myself, my company, and then all my clients as well, is that I'm always going to be brutally honest with them. And I lose a lot of listings this way.
Yep.
We go in and we sit down with sellers, and I have a fellow agent who's going in there and just telling them this dream price that they've always been thinking about, and they're just not being honest with them. Then they have to go through that process of lowering their price, and it's just it's something that we deal with, and I lose listings for it, but I'm going to be honest with my clients, and I tell them, well, there's really 4 factors that go into a sale. 2 of those are determined by the seller. It's the condition of the property and the price that they list their property for. And then the other 2 are determined by the agent. That's the marketing and then the negotiating of it.
Okay.
And when I sit down with them, I mean, we have to be honest about the market. And I try to get my sellers to put themselves in a buyer's shoes. Look at the market. Is your property going to be that next to sell home? Is it priced right? Does it show well? And so on. And then we back that with all the marketing that we do.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, just because you love your house and you love purple walls or green walls doesn't mean that the majority of people do.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why that brutally honest opinion is crucial. I mean, it is. And people should appreciate that. I know some people get offended by it. And they'll go to somebody that's not so brutally honest. It's like, oh, I love the forest green dining room. That's beautiful, And a lot of people will like that too. Instead of maybe saying, hey, you know what, we should probably repaint this thing. Yeah. And let's take off the floral pictures off the wall, or whatever the case may be. You got to clean this up. You got to do this. You got to do this, because you want it to look good for the masses walking through there, and it's got to be priced right. When we come back from the break, Joseph, I want to talk about your website, your marketing, because I do believe that with the technology and vast advancements of today, and we see it. I mean, Apple releases 2 new phones, and the media, they haven't stopped talking about it. Nope. I mean, on the way here, I'm listening to how many, they've sold over 10 million iPhones over the weekend. Just over the weekend, 10 million. So that is crucial, especially in the real estate market. When we come back, we're going to get into that and what that means if you are looking to buy or sell a home. It's your lunch hour on the Mr. Credit Show, 1700 ESPN.
She screamed again.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Macro Monday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. It is your Lunch Hour on the Mr. Credit Show. It's JJ, John Jerotz in the hot seat today. Synergy One Lending. If you have any questions for myself or our guest today, very easy to call, text, email. Just go to askjjnow.com and we'll get your questions answered, put you in touch with the right people to make sure that you're making the right move. Talking about real estate today in San Diego, we have Joseph Arendsen with the Arendsen Group. San Diego RealEstateToday.com if you want to check out Joseph. Great website, by the way, and very easy to maneuver through. It's built for you as a consumer, if you're a buyer, if you're a seller. I mean, a lot of information there, but at the end of the day, if you need to talk to Joseph, I'm going to give you his number directly here. It's 760-672-0174. You may not need it, but write it down for somebody who might need it. Somebody that you know is in the real estate market looking to buy or sell a home. 760-672-0174. And Joseph, I want to, before the break, we were talking about just the overall market condition, what's kind of changing out there. Inventory levels are up a little bit. They're coming down a little bit, but a lot of competition if you're a seller. And I want to know, I mean, you are an expert when it comes to marketing a home. And I think, at the end of the day, with technology advancing just so quickly, so rapidly, everybody's carrying almost like an iPad type phone out there. They're growing. Apple just grew their phones a little bit bigger. I did hold a new iPhone 6 this morning. One of my buddies put it in my hand and said, "Hey, check it out." It's not the big one. I don't think I could go any bigger than that, but it's a cool phone. It looks good.
Absolutely.
But real estate, we all know that real estate starts online. People are going online to just start it all. And what are you doing differently than other people? Let's just start. You're selling a house, right?
Yep.
What are the marketing techniques that you're using out there?
Yeah, it's it's something that we've spent a lot of time on, and we're constantly critiquing and we're adding and taking away from our marketing plan. But for the most part, our base for our marketing plan is pretty much set, and it's tested and it's true and it works. And most of that is online marketing. I mean, it's just that's how you connect to buyers. I think NAR, they did a study and they showed that 30% of buyers actually find their property through an agent, and then the other 70% are searching online.
70%?
Yeah, and there's about a 1% that actually go out and find a property through open houses.
Okay.
So, that is a major portal that you have to advertise through, and you have to get your property out there. And people think by just putting it on the MLS and letting it syndicate to all the other broker websites and putting it on Trulia, Zillow, and Realtor, that's going to do it. That's not the case. We found out that there's algorithms on Trulia, Realtor, and Zillow.com. So ways to make our property show up at the top of those lists when people search for them.
Gotcha.
That's stuff that agents just don't look at.
Right.
And that's something that, we figured out, and that helps out. And then there's just a million other things that we do in the process to really kind of separate ourselves. But it's really getting down to the nitty gritty and finding out how to rank and how to get your property in front of the most buyers as possible.
And that's something, just for the listeners, that's not, I was talking to Joseph in the break, and he's talking about stuff in the back engine of these things that I don't even know what the heck he's talking about, because I'm an IT dummy, right. Joseph, I am. So it's good. You need to work with somebody that gets it, that knows what changes Google is making, for instance, what they're doing to revamp and change the thing. So, you might be, ranked number one for a while, but you got to keep up with the pattern of that.
Absolutely.
And how to make that happen, which is great. And it's how to get your house to the top of the list so the most amount of people, the most amount of buyers are going to see it. And that's the key. So you're big into video as well, right? Video tours of the home. Exactly,
for that reason that you were just talking about, ranking. Video, it used to be content is key. Now videos are, it's key to ranking on Google. So we've always done the normal virtual tour. And that's those still photos that got big and popular. And sure enough, I fell into the mix and was doing those as well, even though all they are still photos put into a video with some music in the background.
Right.
Yeah. And then we started seeing these high-end homes, these multi-million-dollar homes, getting these beautiful video tours that go through the property. You have someone talking to you, selling you on the property. They're even using drones to fly over the home and give it that view. But nobody was doing it for the average sales price.
Right.
And that's what we just put together. We just launched this, and it's bringing those high-end commercial quality videos to the average sales price and the average home.
So you're talking about, I mean, a $500,000 house, for instance. Yep. You're going to do that sort of video tour for that home just as much as you'll do it for the $1 million home.
Absolutely.
See, that's amazing, because you're right. You're only seeing it right now, for the most part, in the upper echelon of homes. The $2.5 million Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar, La Jolla type of properties. So it's cool that you're bringing it. Now let's talk about this. So it helps the listing just from a ranking perspective, right? I mean, you put the video in there and you put it online, and that in itself is going to help that populate higher. Absolutely.
So the SEO, is phenomenal with videos, and not just ranking for someone typing in that address, but for ranking for someone looking in Carlsbad in the $400,000 range for a 4-bedroom, and all of a sudden our video is popping up 1, 2, or 3 on Google. So people are seeing it. It's just great for organic search results.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why we use it. And then there's other reasons, such as helping our sellers. Screening buyers. So buyers actually view the video before they take a look at the property, and sure enough, maybe they didn't like the way that the floor plan was.
Yeah. So
then they don't bother wasting the seller's time and setting up an appointment. But it also, and what we've seen is really the reason why we put it together, is it helps us contain or keep a buyer interested in a home. Once someone comes through a property and they like it, first thing they do when they get home is they're searching the property, and they're doing their due diligence, and they're researching it, and they're finding out all the information they can, and our video pops up, and they watch that video, and most of the time it shows the property in better light than it actually does in real life, and it keeps them motivated in that property. And then we've seen, people get motivated. If you have a buyer who's motivated, they're willing to pay a premium for it.
Yeah, definitely.
They're going to pay a little bit more for the home, and that's what we've seen really make an impact with the videos.
So let me ask you this. You're a seller. I'm a seller. I want to list my home. You come in, you do the video. Is this a cost that you guys pay for? Or is this something that the seller incurs the cost for?
No, it absolutely. It's rolled in right into our marketing expense. Okay. Yeah, and that comes out of the basic commission that we charge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, and that's the thing. That's a differentiator to me. If you're looking at listing your home with a couple different people, look at what people are willing to pay for. I've even heard, real estate agents charge the seller for photos, just still photos. You want to use somebody that has the complete marketing campaign, marketing package out there. And now, are you doing the shooting? Are you walking around with your iPhone? Is that how this is working?
No. We bring in a professional videographer. He is phenomenal. I don't really want to give away his name because I don't want the competition to be using him.
Joseph, you don't have to.
But he does a great job for us. He breaks out his drone and flies over the homes, and just really gets into detail over these videos, and they come out phenomenal.
So let's talk about the drone.
Yeah,
let's talk about that, because I know it's going to be something that's we're gonna hear about the drones more and more.
Yep.
Obviously Amazon wants to deliver packages with drones. I think Google's working on a drone now. The real estate community is working on drones. You have people building their own drones for it. Right now they're you can just fly them. You can fly them around the houses. You can fly them through the houses. What do you think is going to happen in the near future? You think that the FAA is going to put a stop to it?
Well, they already have.
Okay.
For the most part. They've been trying to, and I'm not up to date on what's going on with that, so I'm probably the wrong person to be talking to. But they have tried to, and you can't fly them around the airport, for obvious reasons. But anywhere else in San Diego that's not close to the airports, you can use them. And people don't realize you don't need to have a big house to use these, even townhomes. Think about the beautiful community that the townhome offers, and then you can show it from the aerial view. You can see the pool and the clubhouse and the park next door to it. People see that, and they see all this, all the activities that they could be, taking advantage of with that property. And that's one of the things that you get from a drone, is just giving that overall look of the community.
Well, and it's amazing. You fly a drone through a home, and you get that perspective of walking down the hallway, walking from the front to the back, what is it going to look like when I walk out my French doors to my backyard? It's an amazing thing, and you're doing this for any property that you're taking on, which is just incredible to me. If you want to get in touch with Joseph, go SanDiegoRealEstateToday.com, SanDiegoRealEstateToday.com. When we come back, Joseph has a plan. It's actually has a name, and I'm gonna preserve that name for when we come back, because it's pretty special, and it's just crucial with inventory levels that are up there right now. You want to shrink the amount of time that your home is on the market, and we're going to tell you how to do that when we come back. It's your lunch hour, 1700 ESPN.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today it's Macro Monday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. It is your lunch hour. Mr. Credit, it's JJ, John Jerotz, Synergy One Lending, in the studio today with Joseph Arendsen. I don't know what that noise was, but I almost felt like we were in the circus. Joseph, you don't have your headphones on, but it was like a circus noise that just came in, and probably announcing you. It was a good one. I like that. If I could find that button, I would play it again. But Joseph's in the studio today from the Arendsen Group, and before the break, we were talking about marketing plans and drones and videography. So you don't take any stills anymore. I mean, you're not doing still photography of properties.
No, absolutely, we're doing stills.
You are.
I mean, that's for going on the MLS. That's for all of our email marketing campaigns. All the big advertising on the big three. Truly Realtor.
Okay, so you still need to take still photography.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But Joseph's using professional videography, and the key reason is to help your home sell faster, and it's to get it to the top of the rankings with all these different sites. So I want to tell you, you have a specific marketing plan, Joseph, that your team offers. And what is it called? What is the plan? Let's talk about it.
Well, the Arendsen Group marketing plan, we focus in on what I consider kind of a concept, and it's the front-loading marketing. That is building excitement around the property and doing all the advertising before it sells.
Okay.
A lot of agents out there, and I know really good agents that still go with this old format, and they put it on the MLS and hope that there's a buyer that's already looking in that neighborhood for that price point, and then the property will sell. And that's just doing a disservice for your client. Well, let me go back real quick. If the property doesn't sell, then they start doing the marketing, and they start trying to get some action from the marketing and get people in there. And that's just not doing the best thing for your client at that point. What we try to do is we build our marketing plan to release the property with as much exposure as possible from day one. Even if there is a buyer who is interested in the property, already looking on the MLS in that neighborhood, and he comes to the table right when it goes on the market. But what if our marketing could bring in one extra buyer? One or two extra buyers. Then you have multiple people interested, and we're talking thousands, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more for our sellers.
Yeah.
And it's just something that it shocks me that real estate agents don't do, or that sellers aren't holding their real estate agents accountable to doing.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, let's talk about pocket listings for just a second, right? So you work for a big brokerage type firm, and you just try to keep it all in house, right? You don't release it to the masses.
Yep.
And that's the same thing. You're doing a disservice, right?
Absolutely.
You're not taking it out there to the mass public. Maybe somebody that is in Australia that wants to buy your house for cash, or Canada that's moving in, or Europe that's coming to town, or China. The real estate market is a global market today, especially in San Diego. I mean, it's a destination spot, and people want to live here. They want to buy here. So you release it. I mean, are you doing open houses? Do you believe in open houses?
We have that concept of we want to bring in the techniques and the marketing that works from the outdated stuff, for that we've been doing for years, but the stuff that actually works. And open houses, they do get some traffic. But then we try to tie them in with the new age marketing. So we do it with a twist.
Okay.
We do what we call our grand opening versus our open house. Okay. And we start advertising the property, and it's about a week-long advertising, 5 days actually straight, that we release different items of marketing to get some exposure built around the property. However, we're not showing the property for that time frame. And then we do our grand opening that Saturday, and that is the open house. However, all the agents who have been waiting to get their clients in there have to wait until that time. Everybody that's come across our marketing material, all the neighbors are going to know about the property by then, so they're going to be coming through. We've had these grand openings, and there's 20 cars outside waiting to get in this property. And what it does is it builds excitement around the home. You get people at the property and get them emotionally attached. We've had, during the grand opening, 20 cars outside and 3 offers written right there inside that house.
That's amazing.
Just from doing the grand opening. It's old techniques of open houses with a twist.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and
modern
you think
twist.
about it. You think about businesses, right? I mean, even a new Starbucks has a grand opening.
Absolutely.
Right? They market it and they advertise it, and when
even
it comes
even if there's one right down the street and it's
Yeah.
a new one, they're still doing a grand opening.
Yeah, so it's a great idea, and this is something that you're doing for all the properties with the virtual tours, with the video stuff, and I mean, one of the things that I see a lot of, and you're right. I mean, it's old school thinking, right?
Yep.
It's old school. You take the pictures, you throw it on the MLS, you syndicate it out, and that's fine. And that's fine if the market is loaded with buyers ready to buy your home, and we've had that. We had that in 2012.
Agreed.
We had that in 2013. Up to a point of last year. I mean, maybe in the winter time, it kind of slowed down a little bit with the buyer activity out there, and you have to adjust. I mean, what's cool, Joseph, is you're adjusting with the market, and you've been in the market long enough to know that it's constantly a moving target.
Always. It's always taking little twists and turns, and you have to adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. When it comes to marketing, certain techniques will stop working. I mean, shoot, we used to get 1,000 people coming over from Craigslist ads to our website a month. And nowadays, Craigslist made a quick change, so now we can't do that platform anymore.
Interesting.
We get, 10% of that. We get 100
Okay.
or so, just nothing. Same with the algorithm and Google. I mean, there's just, you have to look for other avenues, and you have to be constantly changing and taking a different approach on real estate.
And I think that makes it fun, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Keeps
Keeps it
you on your
exciting.
toes,
Yeah.
Keeps it fun. So we have always people that are listening to the show that are looking to sell their house. And I mean, don't think that just because it's September, it's a bad time to sell. I mean, you got through the summertime. People always say, oh, the summer's going to be hot. The summer's going to be hot. I'll tell you what, I've seen more people getting into homes in the last 20 days since September came. I mean, the market is hot right now.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
We judge the market, yes, by stats and seeing how many properties are coming on the market and seeing how many pendings are going on. However, I also like to look at my back end of my website and how many sign calls we're getting and how many new buyers are coming into that market. And within the last 20 days, I mean, we've just seen it really kind of rejuvenate and just come to, and it's really it's good to see.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
after the last couple months, it was a little slow there. So.
Yeah, I know. And in the summer season, where you expect
everyone expected it to just be a really hot summer and properties to be flying, and they weren't, and
Right.
it was surprising.
Yeah. So let's say if I'm a seller and I'm thinking, okay, you know what, I was traveling in the summer. I bailed. I wanted to get it listed, but I didn't. Now it's time. I got to make a move. I mean, what are a few things that a seller, a homeowner can start thinking about right now to kind of prepare themselves to sell their home?
Well, really, there's 2 steps that the seller controls. I mean, there's 2 items that they control when it comes to selling their property, and that's the condition, the way it shows, and then the actual price that they list their property for. Those are the 2 real keys that that a seller can control. And then the third thing would be finding a true professional. I mean, finding a real estate agent who's actually going to do some marketing, who's actually going to get out there and hustle and get your property sold. But definitely condition, and then determining the price of your property, make sure it's priced right.
And when you talk about condition, I mean, are we talking about little things, big things? Should they step outside of their house and kind of take a look at it and say, compared to, what do they compare it to?
Yep. And then for the normal property, we don't want to go in there or for the normal seller and do a full remodel, put in a new kitchen. No, it's too expensive and it just takes too much time. But you'd be amazed what a little paint and carpet does. I mean, you'd be absolutely stunned what a little paint and carpet does.
Yeah.
And that's usually what we're recommending when we go into a property if it's a little beat up. And paint and carpet, declutter, make it show well. Maybe get a little some pillows for the couch and give it a little character. But really simple items. And that's something that you sit down with a professional who actually knows what he's talking about, and he'll tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, I know it sounds simple, Joseph, but people need to know the little things. They don't have to put on the big hat. It's just the little stuff. That's why we bring the experts in the studio today. Joseph, thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it. Time goes by fast. Really appreciate your expertise. If you want to get a hold of Joseph, I'm going to give you his number direct, 760-672-0174. Write it down. Give it to somebody you know, 760-672-0174, or just visit him online. It's San Diego Real Estate Today. That's SanDiegoRealEstateToday.com. Joseph Arendsen with the Arendsen Group. Thank you again. It's your lunch hour, 1700 ESPN. We'll see you tomorrow.
If you would like to contact Mr. Credit or access any free offers mentioned on the show, just go to mrcredit.org. That's mrcredit.org.